Hello fellow cyborgs, today I will be announcing my participation in the Witchathon Readathon. This is a 2-week long readathon hosted by Acacia over at the Chaotic Little Book Corner. This will be going from the 25th of October to the 6th of November, and it is themed about witches. There are 4 prompts, but really it's just about reading books that give you witchy vibes for this witchy season. The Summer Witch prompt centers around protection, and it's to read a book that makes you feel comfortable, and she specifically recommended maybe rereading a book that I have on my shelves that I do want to reread, that brought me comfort and also has witches in it. Well, it's a book you've heard me talk about a lot recently. It's Cemetery Boys again. So I think I'm going to reread this, even though I read it for the first time just a few months ago, because it will just be an easy, delightful audiobook read. So this story centers around Yads, who is a brujo. He is a person who is of Latinx descent, and he has magical abilities surrounding taking care of the dead. And he wants to prove himself that he is truly a brujo to his family because he is trans. But first, he has to deal with this ghost Julian, who now is connected to him. It was delightful and wonderful, and I loved seeing a male witch. It's not very common in the witchy books that you read, so I'm excited to read this again. The Fall Witch symbolizes seduction, and Acacia said to pick a book that calls to you. I've been meaning to reread We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson for a long while. This time I think I want to read it over audiobook, and this has definitely been calling to me to get it off of that reread pile. This is about Mary Cat and her sister Constance, who live in their old family home, which I remember being like a grand manor, with their uncle. And they are very much hated by the local people in their village, and you kind of learn why. Mary Cat is very witchy. The first few pages are just so wonderfully dripping with those witchy vibes, so I'm eager to see what I think about the audiobook and what I think upon rereading, because this was not my favorite Jackson. The Winter Witch prompt is all about altars, like your altar that you pray at. The prompt asks you to choose a book that you would bring to your altar, so something that is a part of you or represents an aspect of you. And I've chosen to reread The Haunting of Hill House, also by Shirley Jackson. That's because this is the first Jackson that I read, and it's the book that I think of when I think of Shirley Jackson because I was so floored at how much I enjoyed it. My plan is to also reread this over audiobook because I have not experienced it in that form and see what I think. This is one of the classic haunted house stories. We follow the character of Eleanor. She's been asked to come to this house, which has a collection of investigators investigating the paranormal there. She's a little bit unstable, and how the house interacts with her brings chills down your spine. And then the final prompt is Spring Witch, which is symbolized by ancestors. And this is a book that Acacia said you should choose that someone has recommended to you. And so for that, I've taken a recommendation that Acacia herself gave to me, and that is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is a alternate history, historical, feminist witchy book all about 3 sisters who end up splitting apart after a traumatic childhood and finding themselves again in a city. I started listening to this audiobook and I enjoyed the audiobook. I enjoyed the book as a whole, but it was just more of a chunker and a little bit denser than I wanted at the moment. So I'm glad to have this excuse to finally finish it, though I think I'll probably start from the beginning and see what this truly has to hold. So those are the books that I plan on reading for Witchathon. I plan on tackling at least 3 of these over audio, but maybe all 4. So I think I'll be able to do that in 2 weeks. I'm a fast audiobook listener, thankfully. Please let me know in the comments down below the best witchy book that you know of. I would be down for more recommendations, that's for sure. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I hope you are enjoying this spoopy season and continue to be lovely.